So what the talk with the budget is, obviously it's coming up in October, and obviously a general election. We don't know. It could be the end of the year. They might go for it at the end of the year. They might wait until March because they know themselves. We see what's happening with people being brought in, bussed in and day out into different parts of the communities, and people being called all sorts of names by the government. What did they expect? Do you think people really going to vote to put the X in the Fianna Fáil Fine Gael, and particularly Sinn Féin too? They're not any saints in this argument because Sinn Féin basically are essentially siding with the government and there's no such opposition because there really should be mass uproar in the Dáil with Sinn Féin. If there were the real opposition, the government should be nearly at its knees at the moment in terms of this issue. If they really were the opposition, but they're not. They're just basically going with the government. They're nearly at this stage. They're nearly complicit in it. Where they generally are complicit. But long story short, it's going to be a giveaway budget. Everybody can see it. They're talking about €20 for the people on on the pension tickets, the state pension, because again they want the old folk. The old folks are the only people who are going to vote Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Let's be fair, the young people of Ireland are not going to vote for a party that treats Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael treats young people like shit. You can't afford to buy a house, you can't afford to rent a house, let alone buy a house, you can't even afford to rent a house in a small town in rural Ireland. And if you could, you would have to generally bust your backside to do it. Not even that. People can't barely survive at the end of the week. The young people of this country can't. It's going to be the elderly people who's going to vote for Uniform Fine Gael, because let's be fair, that's the only people who will. Because no person I know, young person, will vote for Uniform Fine Gael because they haven't done anything to help anybody. The homeless figures have gone up and up. Hospital waiting lists have gone up. People waiting in social housing has gone up. The whole shebang, there's nothing that's changed, basically what I'm trying to say. Nothing has changed. It's got worse instead of getting better. You could say if it got better, at least they've done something. But it's the fact of the matter, things have just got worse and worse and worse because people just keep coming in. And that puts pressure on all the services. We could say whatever, but far right, etc., etc. But it is the truth. When you bring in loads of people into the country, it's going to put pressure on the medical service. It's going to put pressure on the police. It's going to put pressure on society as a whole. And it just keeps happening. The train keeps going. But what I'm trying to say is, and then we see the changes to inheritance tax, etc., etc. It's all trying to get a few votes, and we see the energy credits too. But it's all just a big charade, basically. Because let's be fair, they don't give a shit. They don't care about the only Joe. Simple as that. It's plain to be seen. They treat us like dogs. They know to be told. They couldn't give a shit about the only Irish Joe. They generally couldn't care less. It's only because they know what's coming for them in the next election, and they know it might be the end of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and hopefully so. Because they've shown the utter contempt, and now especially if this hate speech bill passes, people would have to show Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael the door for good, and saying that's the end of them, because if they pass that, there'll be no such thing as negotiating between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael anymore. Because basically they're becoming for people's rights, and they already are. We see it across the times, what's happening across the world. And we've seen in Ireland too, the grab for power, etc., etc. Because they really are. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael was supposed to be, pro-Irish party, etc., etc. They're just turned into a globalist party. Basically, they don't believe in sovereignty. Micheál Martin basically said themselves, we don't want a backwards looking idea of sovereignty. And, that tells you all you need to know about Fianna Fáil. Because, I don't know what Eamon De Valera will agree with that. But basically, long story short, I'm going off topic a lot here. But long story short, it's going to be a giveaway budget because they know people are very annoyed and people are very upset. In the polls, and every poll you see about migration, etc. And this fact has not been addressed. It's just kicking the migration issue down the road and hoping that people shut them out and be quiet. And that's what's happening. It's simple as that. That's what's happened. They're hoping that people just shut up and be quiet. And if not, we pass legislation to put you in prison to shut you up. And that's what we see at the moment. That's what's happening. It's the fact that nothing has really changed. People are still turning up every day with no passports, etc., etc. And it's the truth. It's only the truth. And I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't believe it, because it is the truth, because we see the deportation figures too. There was supposed to be nearly 2,000 people, or 3,000 people deported from the state. Only 31 of them were carried out. That was supposed, and all them people are still in the state, still in the Irish state. Who knows where they are? They could never be found again. But, it goes back to the main issue. Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael have done nothing. over the last 20 years for anybody in this country, maybe even 30 years. You could say maybe 30 years ago the country was in a better state, and so it was. Because now people are just being abused by political parties, by the Fianna Fáil Fide Gael, by the establishment. And we see these power grabs that's happening. And it really should be called out for what it is. Because things have not got better, things have got worse, and are getting worse by the day. They're getting even worse and worse. Like, I don't know if it could get any worse, but they always pull us up and out of the backside to do it. But long story short, it will be a giveaway budget. We all can see it. But hopefully be sooner rather than later the general election, because they will try to kick the general election down the road as much as possible, because it's not going to look good for them. So thank you.